felt louder than it needed to be. Every day, just another day. Then something changed without a signal. No moment I could point to. Things just started slowing down whenever I was with you. I noticed how I breathed easier, how nights felt less long. Love didn't feel like something new, it felt like something I'd known. I didn't stop to question it, I didn't ask for more. I just stayed where the feeling was and let it form. Once it's slow, I could finally feel. Once it's slow, everything felt real. Once it's slow, I stopped running through days and learned how to stay. We talked about simple plans, nothing we had to keep. Long walks, familiar streets, conversations running deep. You listen without correcting me, without trying to leave. And that quiet kind of care was everything I needed. I don't replay the moment it faded or wonder who let go. Some love doesn't leave suddenly, it just moves slow. I didn't try to hold it tighter, you didn't close the door. We both felt the shift arrive and let it go. Once it's slow, I learned to see what staying present really means to me. Once it's slow, it left its mark, changed how I open my heart. If love comes only once to teach you how to feel, then what we had was real. I don't wish it lasted longer, I don't feel regret. I just know I wouldn't be the same without it. Once it's slow, it stayed inside, not as memory, but as guide. Once it's slow, and I understood that loving like that once was good. I don't rush the world anymore. I remember once it's slow. I don't talk about you every day, but some nights you come back on your own. Not as pain, not as a question, just a thought that feels like home. Life kept moving like it always does, where conversations ordinary days. But sometimes something in the air brings me back to the way we were. You knew how to calm me down just by being close. You didn't need to say much, and I didn't need to ask. You're still there, in the way I slow down, in the way I listen. But when the room gets quiet, you're still there, not in my arms, not in my place. learned how to love. We didn't promise forever, we didn't talk about the end. We lived inside the moment like it was enough back then. I remember simple things, your voice late at night, the way everything felt easier, just sitting side by side. I don't replay our last goodbye, I don't wish I'd stay. Some love is meant to be honest, not meant to stay the same. You're still there when I trust someone new, not because I compare, but because I learned from you. You're still there in the way I care, in the way I don't rush what feels real. Time didn't erase what we had, it just put it in its place. Not something I chase or miss, just something I respect. I became a little calmer after you, a little more aware. That's how I know it mattered, 'cause something stayed. Some people change your life without staying in it. Some love teaches you how to be open again. You're still there when nights feel long, when I stop and think about who I am. You're still there, and that's enough for me, because what we had was real. I don't need to go back, I just carry it with me. We didn't meet at the right time, but it felt right then. Life was louder than we were, but we found our own rhythm in it. You showed up without trying, just the way you were. And somehow that was enough to make everything slow down. I remember small things clearly, the sound of your steps, the way you looked at me like you were really there. I didn't need to know the ending, I to make it perfect. We didn't fix every doubt. We just stayed a little longer when the lights were almost out. You talked about the future calmly, like it didn't need a name. And I remember feeling certain that something real was taking shape. The days moved slowly back then, without pressure, without fear. Love didn't feel like something fragile, it felt clear. I wasn't asking for forever, I wasn't holding tight. I just wanted to stay inside what felt right. The way it felt was honest and true, not loud, not dramatic, just me and you. The way it felt still lives in me, in the way I trust, in the way I breathe. We talked about ordinary things like they really matter. Late night drives, familiar songs, moments that stayed after. Your silence never made me doubt. It felt warm, it felt kind, and I didn't know at the time how rare that is to find. I don't replay the final moment, I don't question what went wrong. Some love doesn't fall apart, it just moves on. I didn't need a reason, I didn't need control. Being close to you felt steady, felt whole. The way it felt still guides me now, in the way I stay open, in the way I slow down. The way it felt didn't disappear, it changed my life while it was here. If love is only meant to show you how to feel, then what we had was real. I don't wish it back, I don't hold regret. I just know that moment isn't finished yet. The way it felt was strong enough to stay with me after love. The way it felt still feels right, even now, even tonight. I don't need to go back. I remember the way it felt. We didn't know it was ending, we were just tired that day, talking a little slower, letting silence stay. You leaned against the doorway, watching the street below. Nothing felt dramatic, but something felt low. We had learned each other's habits, the calm and the flaws. Love didn't feel like a question, it felt like a pause. ready to leave you. You weren't asking me to stay. We stood right there together with nothing left to say. What we left there still comes back to me. Not the goodbye, not the fear, just what we used to be. What we left there wasn't broken or wrong. It was love that stayed quiet when it couldn't go on. We talked about ordinary plans like they still mattered. Coffee getting cold between us, time pulling at the edges. You smile like you always did, trying to keep things light. And I remember how heavy that smile felt that night. I don't blame you for letting go, I don't blame myself. Some love doesn't leave angry, it just leaves itself. I didn't fight the moment, you didn't close the door. We both knew staying longer would only hurt more. What we left there still lives inside. The way I hesitate before I say goodbye. What we left there taught me how to see that loving someone once can still set you free. If love is only meant to meet you halfway, then what we had did its job that day. I don't wish we'd held on tighter, I don't wish we'd stayed. I just know that moment changed me. What we left there was strong and real, not something I lost, something I still feel. What we left there didn't fade away. It lives in the quiet parts of who I became. I don't go back to that place, but I know what we left there. talked about our younger days like they were still nearby. Old songs, familiar streets, the way time slipped by. You smiled when I lost my words, waiting, never rushed. Love didn't feel like something new, it felt like trust. I don't replay how it ended, or wish it went another way. Some things don't fall apart, they just gently change. I didn't try to hold you longer, you didn't pull away. We both felt the moment shift and let it change. That's where it settled inside my view, in how I listen, in how I choose. That's where it settled, soft but clear, a steady feeling I still hear. If love is meant to slow you down, then what we had was solid ground. I don't need it back, I don't need proof, I just know it shaped me through and through. That's where it settled, and it stayed, not as regret, not as pain. That's where it settled, and I'm fine, because loving like that once changed my life. I don't look for it anymore, I know where it settled. We didn't call it something special, we didn't give it a name. It just grew between our days and slowly found its place. You showed up the way you always did, without needing to explain. And I remember how easy it felt to stay exactly the same. The world kept asking us to hurry, to decide, to choose a side. But when I was there with you, everything inside me stayed quiet. I wasn't looking for answers, I wasn't trying to be sure. I just felt something honest that I could trust. What we shared was real to me, even if it couldn't last. It wasn't built on promises, it was built on where we were. What we shared still lives inside the way I see and feel. Some love doesn't stay beside you, it stays real. We talked about the smallest things, like they mattered the most. Late nights, quiet laughter, nothing we had to force. I remember how your silence never made me unsure. the distance then, the way life pulls people apart. We were busy learning each other, memorizing the small parts. Your jacket on the back of the chair, the radio playing low. Everything felt temporary, but love didn't feel so. You spoke about things you cared about, not trying to impress. And I remember thinking how calm happiness can be. I didn't need to hold you tighter, I didn't need a sign. I just stayed where the feeling felt right. That's how it stayed, quiet and true. Not loud, not perfect, just me and you. That's how it stayed, long after time moved on in the way. I still believe love like that was real. We talked about the future carefully, like it could hear us speak. Laughing about things we might do, never counting the weeks. I noticed how easy it felt to sit without a word. Love didn't need explaining, it was understood. I don't replay how it faded or who stepped back first. Some love doesn't end in fire, it just cools. I didn't stop to save the moment, you didn't ask me to stay. We let time do what it does its own way. That's how it stayed, inside my view, in how I listen, in what I choose. That's how it stayed, soft but clear, a steady feeling I still hear. If love is only meant to meet you once, to show you how it feels and then move on, then what we had did everything it should. It didn't last forever, but it was good. That's how it stayed, strong enough to leave a mark after love. That's how it stayed, and I don't pretend, because loving like that once was enough. I don't go looking for it again. I remember how it stayed. We didn't rush into big conversation, we let the days unfold. Everything felt lighter back then, even growing older felt slow. You'd sit beside me saying nothing, watching the evening pass. And I remember how safe it felt to not explain myself. Love didn't feel confusing then, it didn't pull or test. it was clear, everything made sense. When it was clear, we didn't feel the end. When it was clear, love felt calm and strong, and I didn't know how long it would stay. We talked about our younger years like they were close enough to touch. Old streets, familiar faces, memories we never rushed. You smile like you trusted time, like nothing needed proof. And I learned how love can feel when it's honest and true. I don't replay the moment it shifted, I wish it stayed the same. Some things don't disappear, they simply change their shape. I didn't try to stop the moment, you didn't walk away. We both felt the quiet change and let it be. When it was clear, it left its mark. When it was clear, it changed my heart. When it was clear, I learned to see what loving someone does to me. If love is meant to show you truth, then what we had was proof. I don't need it back, and I don't feel regret. I just know that moment isn't gone yet. It felt like home. When it was clear, I wasn't alone. When it was clear, it stayed with me, and that's enough to let it be. I don't search for it anymore. I remember when it was clear. We didn't hide what was happening, we just didn't talk about it much. Love was sitting right there with us, quiet, patient, close enough. You looked at me like you understood things I didn't say out loud. And I remember thinking how rare it was to feel it calm in a crowd. Life kept pulling in different directions, making noise, asking for speed. But when I was with you, everything slowed, and that was all I needed. I wasn't searching for a big reason, I wasn't trying to explain. I just knew something honest was happening, and it was right there in plain sight. Nothing hidden, nothing dressed, just two people feeling something they didn't need to test. It was right there in plain sight, and I didn't look away. Some love doesn't need a promise to stay real. carefully, like it belonged to someone else. We stayed where we were comfortable, not trying to push ourselves. I remember the way your silence never made me unsure. Love didn't feel like a question, it felt secure. Alive, it was right there in plain sight, and it mattered more than I knew. Not because it lasted forever, but because it was true. It was right there in plain sight, and I still see it now, in the way I listen, in the way I slow down. I don't need to pretend, I just know it changed me. And that's the end. It was right there in plain sight, and I'm glad I stayed. I didn't miss it, I didn't turn away. Ooh, it was right there in plain sight, and it's still honest in memory. I don't live there anymore, but I know what I saw.
We didn't start like a big story. No sparks, no perfect lines. Just two people getting closer, one ordinary night at a time. You talked about your day so simply, like nothing needed to impress. And somehow I felt lighter, just listening to that calmness. I didn't know where it was going, to decide. Being there with you felt easy, like I didn't have to hide. I wasn't looking for forever, I wasn't asking for a sign. I just knew that something in me felt right. It meant something more than words could say. Something, even though it couldn't stay. It meant something, and I still feel it now. Not as pain, not as regret, but as truth I carry out. We stayed up talking way too late, the lights already low. You smiled when I lost my train of thought, like you already knew. I remember how quiet felt safe, how silence wasn't wrong. Love didn't feel loud or dramatic, it felt strong. I don't replay the ending, I don't ask what went wrong. Something that teaches you who you are, then what we had did its job and did it well. I don't need to hold it tighter, I don't need another chance. I just know it mattered, and that's enough. It meant something, I feel it deep. It meant something, I still keep. It meant something, and I'm okay. 'Cause some love stays that way. I don't wish it back, I just don't pretend it was nothing.
We didn't rush into each other's lives, we just started showing up. A message here, a quiet night, small things added up. You listen when I talk too much, I listen when you didn't speak, and somehow that felt stronger than anything loud or big. The days went by without pressure, no promises to We didn't need big moments to feel like something mattered. Most days were quiet and simple, and somehow that was better. You sat beside me half asleep, the room still dark outside. Nothing special in that moment, but I felt alive. Love didn't ask us to be louder or to prove what we felt. It stayed calm, it stayed honest, it stayed itself. I didn't ask for more than this. You didn't promise me the end. We were just there together, and that was enough. It was enough to stay that close. It was enough to let things grow. It was enough to feel that way, even if it couldn't stay. We talked about the future carefully, like it belonged to someone else. We stayed right where we were, not pushing, not holding ourselves. You smiled like you trusted time, like nothing needed control. And I remember thinking then how safe that felt. I don't replay the last conversation or wish I'd said more. Some love doesn't need answers. To be sure, I didn't try to hold you tighter. You didn't pull away. We stayed inside the moment until it changed. It was enough to feel something real. It was enough to know how love should feel. It was enough to leave a mark, to change the way I got my heart. If love is meant to teach you when to stay, then what we had showed me the way. I don't wish it lasted longer. I don't feel regret. I just know I'm different now because of it. It was enough. Call me that's the truth. It was enough to carry me through. It was enough to stay with me, even now, even quietly. I don't need to go back. I know it was enough. We didn't notice it at first, how quietly things were shifting. Days still look the same on the surface, but something inside was listening. You laughed the way you always did, trying to keep it light. And I remember thinking how much we didn't disappear that moment. It didn't fall apart. It just stopped asking for attention and settled in the dark. I didn't ask what was coming next. I didn't need to know. I just wanted to stay a little longer, right where we were. Before it changed, we were still close. Before it changed, we didn't feel the loss. Before it changed, love felt clear and true, and I didn't know how much I'd keep of you. We talked about our days carefully, like words could break something thin. Even silence felt heavy then, but I stayed in it. I noticed how you looked away. Sometimes our nights grew longer than before. Still being there with you felt worth holding on for. I don't replay the moment it shifted or ask who let it go. Some love doesn't leave suddenly, it just moves slow. I didn't fight what was happening. You didn't push away. We both felt the moment begin to change. Before it changed, we had something real. Before it changed, I knew how love should feel. Before it changed, it left its mark, taught me how to open my heart. If love is meant to meet you halfway, then what we had did its job that day. I don't wish we stayed forever. I don't wish we tried. I just know it mattered at the time. Before it changed, before it changed, before it changed. Before it changed, it shaped who I am. Before it changed, I learned how to stand. Before it changed, it showed me truth, and that still lives in everything I do. I don't hold the past too tight. I remember before it changed.